Hi everyone, I just wanted to put this short informational presentation together because I see a lot of questions being asked, has been for many years on various online forums and Reddit for example, and I see a lot of bad advice being given out. So I hope this would help. This is how I landed my first IT job with no experience really, or how I got some experience, and it still works now. I help people get into their IT jobs, their first jobs. So got to cover a few things here. This is kind of the main stuff. Forget my nice flashing pen. You're getting certified, getting some experience, how you do that, what sort of plan you need, and then the interview, which obviously then leads to a job offer eventually. The other thing is, this is all my opinion, so I wouldn't argue with anyone. If you've got a better idea or different circumstances to the ones I'm giving examples for here, then please just find your own way. This is just my 2 cents, as they say in America. So the first thing is, right, don't start until you're certified or almost certified. So say you've got your exam date in a month, 1 month away, you've got your exam. You could actually start applying for jobs then. You could put in the certification name in the list of your qualifications and then put the date in brackets. So you are being honest, and you'll just say that you've got the certification exam. It's up to you. That's if you're in a hurry. If you're not in a hurry, then wait till you've got the exam. Put the next exam that you're studying for example, Cisco CCNP, and put in progress. The reason you do that is it comes up on the search algorithms. The other thing is, right, the certification gets you the interview, not the job. You'll go through a sifting process through a database, or somebody will look at it, maybe if they're doing it the old-fashioned way, and they will see you've got the certification, and then you pass that stage. So I say that because people give a bad advice online. I'll say Reddit, but there's other forums where they say you won't get a job with a certification. It doesn't actually get you the job, it helps you get the interview. So yes, I've said the sifting is done by database searches usually if you upload your resume to some job database. So these are the things that pop up. So you need to be careful. You need to put in the correct terms, like Cisco CCNA, CCNP, Linux administration, and then the LPIC-1 or whatever it is that you've taken. The other thing is, if you're at home and or doing a job that's outside of IT, doing the certification tells the potential employer a couple of things. You're self-motivated, and then you're certified. So many people wait, or they expect their employer to pay for all their books and studying. Well, they might not necessarily do that. Now, some people say experience is enough. Maybe, maybe not. You could have 1,000 hours of flying a plane, but until you've passed your professional pilot's exam, whatever it's called, the PPL, I'm not sure what the name is, then you're not going to be paid to fly planes for any company. And the same for plumbers. You could get your friend to come and do some DIY for you, but an actual plumber with insurance and being able to service boilers, you've got to pass all the exams, and it's the same for IT nowadays. The other thing is, when you're certified, you will get normally priority support, the technical assistance center for Cisco, for example, and you get discounts on equipment and software if you have certified staff. The other thing is, human resources departments normally have no idea what IT people do, so you've basically got to have the certification. Now, which one should you do? Well, I have got no idea. I don't know what you want to do with your IT career. If you hear that something makes a lot of money, for example, Java, and you look and you see, I don't know how much it pays, but it pays loads of money. If you hate programming, you're going to be very miserable, even if you do pass the exam. So think about what you want to do. Do you want to work with people? So that would be project management maybe, or IT management. Do you want to work with the command line interface? Do you find that sort of stuff exciting? So Linux, Cisco's moving away from it, but there is some command line. Do you like fixing problems? So you could be a problem manager, which is look at ITIL, if you like fixing problems from people and systems. Do you actually like fixing network problems? So you could be the network administrator. Think about what you enjoy doing and then look at the track. Everyone, no matter what you do, I strongly recommend you do the CompTIA Network Plus. This, no matter what you choose to do, if this is your pyramid of skills where you get more and more expert at the top, at the bottom you should understand TCP/IP, wireless, OSI model, IEEE, just how networks work, how troubleshooting works, that kind of stuff. So that's what the Network Plus gives you. There's no other vendor that has anything like that now. You've got a Microsoft Network Foundations, which is most of the Network Plus syllabus. Not much else really. So don't chase the money, learn the basics I've just mentioned. Now the experience problem. So they prefer you to have experience to get the job. The more desperate they are, for example, there's one particular, say cloud. Right, there's loads and loads of cloud jobs. So for example, Amazon or Microsoft. But there's about this many people that are certified at the moment. I'm not saying you do it, because like I said, you've got to choose something you enjoy. So what tends to happen is they will look for junior roles, and for junior you don't need to have as much or any experience, but you do need to have the certification like AWS Foundations or whatever. So here's a few ideas. Right, you can volunteer, charities, groups, that kind of thing, to help with the IT. Help out where you work. So this is the one I did. There was so I worked in the police as a police officer, and there was an email system brought in, and basically they needed people to learn the email system, which was awful, and they bought a package. This was in 1999 or whatever, and they needed people to teach others at work. So you could call them floor walkers or whatever. So I went on a course to learn how to coach on the email system, and I helped others. So basically that counted as experience, and I ended up having I think 6 months of helping with the email. So that's something you can put in your resume. It is IT. Anything to do with IT, do that. Find freelancers who need help. So just like electricians and plumbers need somebody to give them some support, you could look at evenings or weekends, and you could help these people doing cabling, troubleshooting, going onto customer sites. There's a whole bunch of people. So ask around and see if you could do that. Moonlighting is doing work in the evenings or in your free time. We don't tend to use that term in the UK or Australia where I live now, but I think it's more common in America. So look at helping companies. Say, for example, you do a server course for Microsoft. You could help, if you've learned it, you could help install it, troubleshoot it, set up Active Directory or shares on the server, that kind of thing, and do that in your free time. Remote support, so look at doing something from home where you can log in. A big thing for that is maybe penetration testing. So say you're doing your Certified Ethical Hacker certification, or there's a Pen Test Plus from CompTIA. You can offer your services. I recommend you get insured if you're doing that. Go to upwork.com and look for simple administrative tasks to do with IT. There's thousands of things you could be doing there. For example, setting up databases, setting up email, or even giving email advice. So look at doing that also. Weekend jobs. My friend worked as a welder, and during the weekend he basically sold Hewlett Packard printers. I don't know if you have PC World in America, but you'll have something similar. So a place where people who don't know about technology go to buy printers, routers, wireless extenders, that kind of thing. And he went and he just helped to sell printers basically, but that gave him sales experience and some IT exposure. So these are just ideas. Obviously, not all of them are going to appeal to you. Put up job adverts in local magazines and papers offering to set up wireless networks, which is pretty easy. Basic firewall, tune up PCs. There's ways you can get rid of slow software and tune up PCs. And you can do the same with network equipment, especially if you understand Wireshark, Wireless Certified Network Associate, I think it's called, WCNA. Short-term work, so filling in if somebody's gone sick or had an accident or on maternity leave, you could fill in for a month or if you're available to 3 months. And they normally urgently need people, so their standard is a bit lower. So your plan, you must treat it like a business. So you must be serious about this. Just making a phone call once every 2 weeks to try and do something or go meeting people or doing presentations, whatever, isn't treating it seriously. So you have to be a project manager. There's software that you can put on your PC or online on the cloud to start a project, to start assigning tasks, even if you're doing all the tasks. So go to Google Sheets or whatever you use and look at who's doing what, when you contacted them, what the next action is. So if you called company X and had a chat with person Y, and then the what is what's going to happen next. So X, Y, Z. Are you going to email them? Are they going to email you? Are you sending them some documentation? Are you going to meet them for a coffee? The reason is I had, say, 10 active contacts when I was looking to get a job, and I had to track. So who was I going to phone? When was I going to phone? Were they going to contact me? So did I need to wait and set a date for a reminder? Was I going to send a book to somebody? All that kind of stuff. And if you don't keep a track, if you've got a lot of active inquiries or lines of inquiries for work, you're going to forget who you spoke to last. And I put little things like if there was something personal. So say, for example, somebody's wife had just had a baby, or a couple had just had a baby and they were taking a week off. I knew when I phoned them next time to say, oh, how did it all go? How was the birth? That kind of thing. And that just makes you more personable. And it's going to increase your opportunities. Research job openings wherever you live, online, local, commutable, that kind of thing. Use customer relationship management software. The one I used is too expensive now, I think, but is ACT by Sage Software. You could use a spreadsheet, but your CRM tells you it's a database of names, phone numbers, emails, and what the conversation is about. A lot more. It does a lot more, but have a look at CRM. Get some business cards. If you're just meeting people, you can even be in the coffee shop, get talking to somebody, and it turns out they work in an IT department, and they can maybe get you an interview or even give you a tour of the place and meet some of the team. Business cards are great, so hand out that. You should put your logos on it if you've passed exams, phone number, email, that kind of thing. Set up a one-page website. You can actually download these templates. So we call them CVs, curriculum vitae. Yours will say resume, whatever. Just obviously be careful about putting your email and phone number out to the public. But you could have a contact form instead, and just a way for people to see something about you. And you can put that on your business card. Networking, so contact all your friends and family. This is your network of people that you can tell that you're looking for work in the IT industry. Reach out to former work colleagues. Right, you must explain. If you've got say a cousin who works in finance for a company, they're not going to understand TCP/IP, firewalls. They might have heard of firewalls, but they're not going to be able to understand what you do. So you've got to educate them as to what you do, or send them to that one-page site which they could share. But you need to tell them what you can do. The reason I say this is I spoke to a friend, and I was doing Cisco, and I told him I was looking for that kind of work. Well, he spoke to the IT manager, and I got a phone call. I got a phone interview, and they interviewed me about Linux. So that was embarrassing, and it was a waste of time. The guy was asking me about what commands to use for what particular scenarios for Linux, and I only knew Cisco. I didn't know Linux, so you need to explain what it is you're interested in doing, what job. You can make a short video and also add that onto your site as well. You would send that to your cousin or whoever, so that would explain to them just in a couple of minutes what it is you can do and what you're looking for. Mistakes, you must have a plan. Don't just randomly do things, randomly send emails and phone people. You must follow it also. Don't get emotional about it. So you could have 10 prospects. You only need one to come good for you. The others, if you're going home every night crying yourself to sleep about it or getting really worked up, it's not going to help. So just treat it as a numbers game. The other thing, right, this is massive. You go onto a forum or Reddit, and I see this all the time. This is why I did this video. And people say like, oh, I'm looking to do this. And somebody says like, don't bother. Doesn't work, etc. Right. You don't know who these people are. They could be a 14-year-old kid who hasn't even got a job yet. So what they'll tend to do is they'll say something like, go and get a master's degree in IT, which, okay, so you drop $100,000 to get your master's degree when you could have spent like $250 and done the CCNA and gone and got a job. You've wasted 12 months, and you've got into a lot of debt for something you didn't need to do. So be very careful. You've got to take your own counsel on this. Think about what you want to do. Speak to people who are actually doing the job that you're interested in. So network with your friends and family again, and find out who's actually a firewall engineer or penetration tester, and ask them what they did. Don't quit either, just keep going. Pretty obvious. Alright, so I've already said that. It's just a numbers game. So use your spreadsheets, use your CRM software, and keep going until you actually strike gold. Meeting and potential employers. So this is a way of the HR department is like a gatekeeper. So you're trying to get to the boss, or whoever it is, the IT manager who's sitting here. And the HR people keep rebuffing you, so they don't answer your calls, or they don't reply to your emails, or whatever. So what you want to do is go past the HR people and straight to the decision maker. So the places I used to go were business networking meetings. This is why you need your business card to hand to people. And what you could be saying is, oh, I'm freelancing. I've started a freelancing business. I'm doing some network support, penetration testing, whatever. And you start handing out your card. Chambers of Commerce also give business advice, and they also put you in touch with the business owners. This is a great one for me. So I went to technical expositions. I think that's what Expo is short for. I went to one for wireless. So companies that have wireless equipment, or they do installs or site surveys, they were all there talking about what they did. I went there with my business cards, and I just got chatting. And every single time you are talking to the boss, the operations manager, the head of sales, you're talking to the top people who want to speak to you. They literally will stop you as you're walking along the aisles and want to talk to you. And I asked questions because I was interested in learning about wireless anyway, or I knew a little bit because I did some wireless support at Cisco. When they finished talking, they then say, oh, what do you do? And I said, oh, I do freelance Cisco consulting. And this got me a lot of business. Excuse me, while I just have a drink of water. They would say, we're looking for somebody who can integrate our wireless with the network, or we're looking at hiring somebody who can do this, that, and the other. And you're literally speaking to somebody there and then. You've had a nice conversation. They've got to know a bit about you, and they've got your business card. And normally then you would get straight in, bypassing all of these people who are trying to stop you getting a job. And this got me a lot of business. As for introduction, so again, this is your friends and family. Nearly some of your friends must know somebody who works in the IT department and would be able to get you an introduction. But you've got to do your part and make sure you've got your certification and done all your preparation. So bypass HR. Recruitment agents, not sure how relevant they are anymore, but these are the people where the company can't be bothered, or they want to outsource all of their recruitment, so they use agents. This was a massive thing when I was looking to get my first IT jobs. Again, I'm not sure, it could be big where you are. So agents are people that will take all of the resumes and build up this big database. They will filter people, and then out of all the applicants, they will probably send 2 suitable ones to the company for interviews or consideration. So if you have them to where you are, look for somebody who's in IT, by the way. Don't just find some generic vanilla job people that include sweeping up floors and welding. Find somebody who knows about IT. If you can go to their office, don't phone them, meet them, have a meeting face to face. Start building a network of contacts. Again, use your CRM. See if they can help you with your resume, if it needs any polishing. Avoid uploading generic resumes, right? This company will have requirement 1, 2, and 3. If your resume, because you've only normally got 2 pages, it might miss off a couple of the important things, even though you can do it. So it might have some sort of problem solving in their job requirements. So you should really, per job, be tailoring your resume. I'll show you how I do that in a bit. The interview. So if you get called for an interview, there can be a pre-interview. So you could be speaking to the agent, or like I said before, you've actually officially been called for an interview. If you've got a load of Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, of you going out getting drunk at parties, political posts, inappropriate jokes, and there's no matter what you do, somebody will think it's inappropriate, I would scrub it all, because they're probably going to search for you. You must research the company, so you must know what sector they work in. So is it finance, HR, whatever? News, are they buying out another company? Are they being bought out? Have they just won a big contract? And about. Because they're going to say to you, oh, what do you know about our company? And if you don't know anything, it's really embarrassing. And it shows you don't really care about the job. So do thoroughly research the company. Go on the forums. I think there's a website called Glassdoor where former employees talk about their experiences working for the company. Agent interviews. So again, this is the person that puts you in front of the company. So try and get an in-person meeting if you can. Again, do your prep. If you're just interested in IT and are not even studying yet, then it's a waste of time. The agent is paid when you get placed with the company, so it's in their interest to get the right person put forward. Now, they're not your friend. So you might not get somebody who's particularly going to spend any time with you. They're probably busy and they're looking at placing people into jobs. So coaching you isn't their job. And they're not always very good. Some people are just in there for a few months and just to make some money. Right, so you could have a pre-interview. You could have a phone interview. This is where people from the company, normally the tech people, will phone you, and they could ask you some technical questions, things about what you're studying for, what you know. You could be asked some technical questions around what you've learned for your certification. So you must thoroughly prepare. You must find a quiet location. So don't do it when your dogs are barking, your kids are crying, your budgies tweeting. Don't do it in a coffee shop. Find somewhere quiet and treat it seriously. I said, again, research the company's values and goals and news because they're looking for a reason to bin you. Prepare to sell yourself, so you must be able to say why you do a good job there and talk about your positive qualities. I'm sure you've got lots. Be personable, so you need to don't start cracking jokes, but be positive and happy. Don't say anything negative like you've got a headache or you've had a bad night's sleep or personal problems. If you pass that, you get called for a technical interview. So it's for Cisco, there was a whiteboard, and they put a load of technical questions like IP subnetting. I'd have to work out how many subnets, how many hosts per subnet. I got asked a few technical questions about serial lines, that kind of stuff, and it was all in the exam syllabus. So you don't know what you're going to be asked. So review. If you've said you do firewalls, then understand the firewalls. If it's Hewlett-Packard or whatever, understand it. Do some hands-on speed. I've got a website, 101labs.net, which is all hands-on labs for Python, security, Cisco, Linux, etc. Check the job requirements. So if it says troubleshooting network cables, then look at that, obviously. Over prepare, so spend a lot of time getting prepared. Be honest. So if they ask you something you don't know or you're not sure, say, I'm really not sure, so I'll do some research and I'll find out. And what I did was I researched what the problem was, and then I emailed the person who interviewed me and said, I've done my homework and I've found out the answer to the question. Don't try and bullshit them because you'll get found out. Ask some questions. Make sure it's appropriate. Like, what are the technologies do you need to learn about? Are there any certifications that they think are valuable? They're really looking for people who are keen and are going to do well. I normally ask for a tour. So after the interview, I said, on the way out, do you mind if I meet some of the team? It was really beneficial, and I got to meet some people and said hello, and it just shows I was more interested than just turning up. So the actual interview, learn some personality skills, read How to Win Friends book by Dale Carnegie. Personality Plus book. Florence Rittauer, I think the name is. Just look at people skills, because IT people really do need to work on those. No offense to anyone. Be cordial, be personable, but don't be too informal. So don't ask them personal questions. Don't talk about your personal life. They could ask you, like, are you married or do you have kids, just to be an icebreaker. So obviously, but don't talk about like a new tattoo you've just got or something like that. The other thing is cover tattoos. I personally recommend, they're more acceptable now, but some people don't like it. So don't give them a reason to bin you. Piercings as well. So just some people are going to judge you and you won't know that they're judging you. So don't give them a reason. Show you've researched the role and company. I've talked about that. See if you're going to be a good fit into the culture. If it's a laid-back thing, if they're all into diversity and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to need to fit into how they do things. Have a couple of questions prepared, as I've said before. So talk about, are there any new developments in the company? Are they investing in new technology? Are they expanding? That kind of thing. Prepare for landmines. So they could say, this is really silly, but they could say, like, tell us about some mistakes you've made. So you need to think of something that isn't serious. Like, I don't know what it is. You could have plugged the wrong cable in at some point. Don't say you've crashed an entire network and destroyed the company. Weaknesses. So they'll say, what's your biggest personality flaw? You've got to think about, don't say I'm a drug addict or I'm an alcoholic. You've got to say something like I work too hard. Something like that. Silly question. All right, so some tips. So aim for multiple offers. Don't just pin all your hopes on one job. If you can get like 5 to 10 interviews, and get some offers coming in, it's much better for you. One offer equals zero leverage. Don't mention salary. If they mention salary expectations, I never talk about it. I'll say I don't know, and then I wait for them to come in, because you're going to undersell you could well undersell yourself by a lot. I mean, years ago I was working, I don't know what it is in dollars. It was something like $75,000 or something for this job I was doing. The guy sitting next to me was doing the same job for 55. So you've got to play the game there and make sure that they put in the offer first, and then if you've got more than one job offer, you can start negotiating. And make sure it's a good fit for you. Don't pick somewhere where you're going to be worked like a dog, paid slave wages, and be very miserable and working permanent night shifts for the rest of your life. You've got to make sure it's a good fit. Not all jobs are good jobs. Again, there could be bullying bosses and just toxic atmosphere. And look at the prospects. So are they going to help coach you, give you exposure to new technology? Excuse me while I look at my phone because I've got a Skype caller shortly. Can you get promoted in the place? What technology will you be using? If it's something rubbish, like erasing data off hard drives and that's all you're ever going to do, then you might not want it, or just do it for a few months. All right, so we've covered a lot there. There's something I just wanted to show you quickly. If you got this far, this is howtonetwork.com is my website. I've actually got an entire course on I've got an entire course on your career. So how to break into IT. This is to get your first IT job, IT freelancing, ace your IT exams. We've got courses from Amazon, all the CompTIA stuff. I think we've got nearly every CompTIA, Juniper, Wireshark, Cisco, Linux, DevOps. This is all included for members, including all your career training. I also personally coach you through, well, not personally, I've done a coaching course to get you through your CCNA, Cisco DevNet, security. Oh, well, you can see there's loads of stuff here. But there's an entire course with a lot more detail on how to break into IT and get your first IT job. So this is all your mind maps. This is one of the people I helped get into IT with no experience, and now he's working for a network. He's a network specialist for an ISP. And this is all the stuff: attitude, job hunting, packaging, planning, interviews, negotiating, which I mentioned, and what to do after you get the job. So there's a link in the description to get access to my website for $1, and it's $20 a month, and that includes everything. So I hope that helps. Please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with any friends, drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next video.